From Journey with VRD, you're listening to the Visions, Missions, and Manifestations podcast, the number one place for spirituality, healing, and transcendence. I'm your host, Vivian Raquel Dayan. Now let's get into it. Hello, beautiful community. Hello, Visions, Missions, and Manifestations community. Holy moly. I just want to take a deep breath right now before I start this episode because there's been so many incredible things that have been pouring into my life. And so many incredible things up leveling, taking my clients, taking you all to the next level. And last night, I was speaking to one of my VIP clients, and she said, Vivian, what do you think it is that you do or that you did that brought you to this next level in your life? And I'm going to get into the amazing, incredible things that have been happening. But I said, listen, I know that the more I grow on myself, the more I do the work myself, the more I'm going to sneeze. Sneezing on the truth, but the more that I do the work, the more that I grow, the more that I invest in myself, the more I bring my clients with me. I take them to that next level that I am at because I embody my work and it's in my energy. And so that when you get into my energy, when we're on a call, I'm coming from a place, from the space where I have it all. And you sponge that energy. You're like, it's when you take it in and then you're able to create. It's like the seed. The seed is given from me to you, and you are able to create the life and the manifestations that you're coming to me for. So that's a really big thing. And that's what I wanted to talk about because as I've been hitting my manifestations, as they've been coming into my life, I've seen my clients supersede their own expectations. For example, one of my clients just got offered a continuous role being a leader in her industry and teaching classes on body positivity. This year alone, working with me, she's gotten opportunities to speak body positive and speak on mental health and body image in public schools and new organizations. She's been on podcasts, and now we're taking her to Times Square. Incredible, successful client. Another one of my clients finally had a huge breakthrough. She's been on anxiety medication for years. And this week texts me, Vivian, first week off my medication and I feel fine because I have all the tools that we work through. And then I had another client say, Vivian, I did the very hard thing that's taken almost a year to do. And I finally spoke up for myself and I spoke to my boss and I told him what I had to say. I was never able to use my voice before. And because of that, now I am able to live the life that I wanted that I was so scared to speak up for. I was able to overcome my fear. I had a client who had no money in her bank account. She had the worst credit score, and she manifested owning her dream home in PA. And these are just some of the examples of the incredible things that have come through for my clients this week. And I'm coming again back to the question that my client asked me last night and said, Vivian, what do you think it is? And it's because over the past couple of weeks, I made major upgrades, major new decisions in my life, and I did the scary thing. And I want to get into it because I want you guys to really understand the power of investing in yourself and taking the risk in order to succeed. What gets to happen when you jump off the cliff in the name of your growth, what happens is the ROI is 10 times the investment. So as a lot of you guys know, I worked in real estate for years, right? A little bit of my story for those of you just tuning in. When I was 12 years old, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And don't worry, I'm going to get back to the big decisions I've recently made in the month of April because it was like bang, bang, boom, bang, bang. So basically, when I was 12 years old, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And I remember hearing my great grandfather once say, once you're diagnosed with something, like it's a death sentence. And so I had this inner knowing, this inner calling to not identify with the disease. I remember lying to my doctors and saying, like, I don't know, no, I don't have any of those symptoms, even though I was experiencing the symptoms. And long story short, the Reader Digest version of the story is we stumbled upon an LOL, a little old lady who was a manifestation coach. And then within 3 months, I was on no medication and no inflammation was found in my body till this day. But my 12-year-old self said, if I can manifest perfect health, what else can I manifest? And I became obsessed. I became obsessed. I went to Barnes and Noble and read every single book on manifestation. It wasn't even a manifestation section. It was a like spirit, like I don't even know what it was called, but it was not even self-help. It was something else. And when I got through every single manifestation book, I went to quantum physics. And when I got through quantum physics, I dipped my toes into Kabbalah because I had a lot of blocks around that too, coming from a Jewish Orthodox background or a modern Jewish Orthodox background. So I became obsessed and I remember like telling my friends about it. My friends didn't really know what it meant, but they knew that I loved to make collages, vision boards. And I remember for my birthday, they bought me like they made up a package of like all these different magazines and posters, and it was very thoughtful of them. And in college, I registered late, right? I went to the new school and I was put into a neuroscience class. And now listen, I was a creative. I like to write, right? I did not like science or math, but when I tell you I fell in love with neuroscience, I was like, this is a science that backs up manifestations. Here we're learning all about neuroplasticity, mirror neurons. Like, hello, this is the proof. This is for the logical person who needs the science. Neuroscience is your thing. That's what you need to get into. So I got really excited about that. But then after college, I just went into real estate. It kind of just fell in my lap. There was an opportunity, and I did that. And when we got into the pandemic, one of my best friends at the time would call me, leave me on the phone for hours and not hang up, and she'd just be complaining about her life and what's going on in the world. And I felt bad because, she was my best friend. I didn't want to just hang up. And so I started giving her journal prompts. I was like, okay, when you're done researching and writing, then you can call me. And so I didn't hear from her for 2 weeks. I got our text messages saying, wow, Vivian, I'm having major breakthroughs. But she did not give me a phone call for another 2 weeks. And when she did, she had a transformation and awakening that she did not see coming. She's like, Vivian, you have no idea. Do you know I'm like this because of this and this and this and making all of these connections? And within a month, she started dating this guy. She found her partner, and it was incredible. And then I started just helping my friends out with what they wanted in their life and teaching them the energetics onto how to get it, giving them the strategy. And it was so much fun and it was pastime. And then a year goes by and I get a call. And this woman says, Vivian, I heard what you did for so and so. How much do you charge? I want to work with you. And I was like, okay, I'm not a coach, so I'm sorry. And she was like, no, 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 Vivian, you have to hear me out. You have to hear me out. I must work with you. I'll pay you anything you want. I'll Venmo you right now. Just send me a Zoom link. And so at the time, I thought $100 was a lot. And she sent me the $100 and I worked with her and she manifested her partner and her babies. And it was incredible. And then word of mouth really took off. And before you know it, I was helping these women manifest the lives of their dreams. But that's not even it. The thing is, I was still working in real estate and I had no LLC. I had no idea anything about business, right? I was just like doing this thing that was so much fun and that was working. And I remember having this idea to lead a manifestation healing retreat in upstate New York. And at the time, a girl I was in a group chat with was like, hey, just opened up my Airbnb. I'm going to give it out for a really low price for really great reviews. And I told her about this retreat I wanted to hold. And she's like, sure, no problem. And so I crafted this message that I posted in every single WhatsApp chat that I was in saying that I was hosting this retreat. And I got 8 women to sign up, all in their 40s. And at the time, I would think I was 25 or 26. We go on this retreat. It was unforgettable. It was transformational. It was epic. And at the end, I said, okay, I'm going to go all in on this because this is clearly what I'm meant to be doing. And so came up with the name Journey with VRD. And I started my Instagram account, still no website. And then I decided to create a website and I did it from scratch myself. I watched YouTube videos and I created a website. And then I created a community chat and I just kept going. And then I continued working in real estate and I kept giving these messages and I led more retreats. If you are listening and you are on the Sedona Manifestation Healing Retreat, you know how powerful these journeys are, these retreats are, and that the work is because your lives have transformed. I'm telling you all of this because now I'm at the point where I had to make a decision. Now I'm at the point where I have clients every single day. I have people coming back to me now that they manifested their dream home, now that they manifested their partner, now that they manifested the money that they want, now that they manifested the business that they want. They're ready for more. And I didn't have the space or the time to be doing this. And so I had to make the decision of quitting my 9 to 5, and I did it. And it was so freaking scary because I went from a guaranteed paycheck, knowing how much I was going to get, and then everything on Journey with VRD just being the cherry on top, to, okay, I am an entrepreneur now. I'm a business owner, and that's what I'm identifying with. And I took the leap. It was scary. It was cute. The president of the company was like, Vivian, can you please reconsider? And I'm like, listen, it's not you, it's me. It really felt like the most amicable breakup. It's like, we leave on good terms? I'm like, of course. And then the next day, the IRS sends me 2 months worth of my salary because I overpaid in taxes. And I'm like, okay, I could breathe. I've got this. And then all of a sudden, I went viral on Instagram and I got 15 new clients booked, paid in full. Because energetically, the universe said she's ready to be seen. She's ready to go all in. And bam, chicka wham, I received. I received. And another thing I want to note here is that sometimes we get stuck in fear. Sometimes we decide to identify and resonate with the story, with the version of ourselves who identifies with the disease, right? If at 12 years old, I identified with a person with the identity of the sick me, I would have still been sick till today. I could have said, this fucking sucks. Like I'm diagnosed with Crohn's at 12 years old. This is going to be my entire identity, my life forever. But I was like, hell to the fucking no, right? That's not how I wanted to live. That wasn't going to be my reality. That I had absolutely zero tolerance for that. And I could have said this is the worst thing to ever happen to me. And somebody looking on the outside in fact, I'll never forget in my early 20s, a guy I really, really liked asked me, Vivian, how do you wake up every single morning with the cards that you've been dealt with? Right? I could have actually seen my life like that, but I didn't. I actually always like stepped into the role of power. And looking back, I know that my quote unquote worst time in my life, right? The scariest thing to happen to me was actually part of my life's mission, my purpose. Getting put into a neuroscience class when I knew nothing about science, right? Was part of my purpose. I needed the science to back up the manifestation work so that when I have clients who are all logical, I could be like, okay, let's break this down with real, tangible facts. Let's prove this with science. Let's go. Neuroscience. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about a dopamine high. Let's talk about how you could get addicted to manifesting. Let's talk about how your brain could start working for you instead of you working for it, right? Because I got that backup. I got that education. But it's because I always believed in myself. I never settled for anything that did not feel good. If it felt bad, it was like, fuck this. I never wanted to stay somewhere that didn't feel good. If it didn't feel good, it wasn't for me because I'm living the fullest version of my bliss. What's making me genuinely happy? What fulfills me? Oh, seeing my clients go from medication to run away from thoughts that they think are scary when really they're all delusions and illusions or stories that they created in their mind. And then I get to see the transformation of them not using medication and being able to coexist in a world where they get to choose the reality in which they live in. That fills me up. That makes me happy. Growing my education so that I can grow and help my clients even more and never stop and never and just continue to crack my own glass ceiling so that I could better assist you all. That's what gives me the bliss. That's what makes me wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. That's what gets me out of bed. Everyone's like, how do you do it? I'm like, what do you mean? This is the best thing ever. Do you understand what I'm doing, what I'm creating, what I'm experiencing? I don't let the things that can stop me, block me, and slow me down get the best of me. And don't get me wrong, I have bad days, but I limit it to an hour. And if it's really bad, I limit it to a day. I be that raging bitch. But then the next day or when the hour's up, I go back to being a soulful, aligned, incredible human, living her purpose, blissing out. And I want to backtrack for a second. When I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and the doctor and my parents said you had Crohn's and this was going to be your life. You have to be gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and you may never be able to ride a roller coaster again, and you may never be able to do normal things again, right? There's something there that I didn't share. I was born blind. Okay. So for the first 5 years of my life, I was born blind. And it wasn't until I had Lyme disease that the doctors actually told my mother and my parents, and they're like, oh, so the school nurse wasn't joking, or, oh, she's not slow. She's a slow learner. She can't sing. And I remember after, getting the surgery and all that, they shifted schools. They switched me out of one school into the other. And at the end of first grade, the school principal wants to leave me back because I was behind in reading. And my parents parked the car in front of Toys R Us and told me, don't worry, you'll have double the friends and you get to pick out a toy. And my 6-year-old self was like, no, no, a toy's not going to cut it. And they're like, but don't worry. You're going to have so many friends. First grade's going to be so easy because you already did it. And I'm like, but no. And so the next day when I went to school, I love the way the universe works. My first grade teacher said, hey, I have a note. Does anybody want to go take it to the secretary? My hand shot up. And I believe it's because I did not know how to read that the principal chose me to go give this note. I mean, the teacher chose me to go give this note to the secretary. I took that note. I walked straight past the secretary's office and went straight to the principal's office. I opened her door. I'm like, hi. And she was surprised to see me. She's like, Vivian. And I said, listen, my parents told me that you want to leave me back a grade and I'm really too smart. And she looked at me and she's like, don't worry, so and so is being held back and she's your friend. You're going to have all these friends. I'm like, I don't care. I remember very vividly the principal listing off all the other students that were going to be held back that year and me saying, but not me. Like, I am not one of them. I am too smart. And I kept saying it over and over and over again. And I told her, I said, listen, when you gave me the tour of the school when I was coming, you told me if I ever had any problems, I could come to you and you would help me. And she said, okay, let me think about it. And I went back to class, finished out the day. And I remember coming home and my parents being like, oh, so how was school today? And I said, good. And they're like, well, did you speak to the principal? And I did. I spoke with her and I explained to them. And they said, well, she was so impressed by you. She said that it would be doing you a disservice to not go to second grade because you are so mature that if you promise to be tutored in reading all summer long, you could go to second grade. And I did. And the reason why I'm sharing this story with you is because from the age of 6, I realized that no matter what anybody said, no matter if they were in a leadership role, a parenting role, they were older than you, they were supposed to be smarter than you, that nobody could dictate your future, your life, other than you. You're the only one. And so growing up, I definitely did not have it easy. I was the target of rumors. I was the target of not, look at her life, right? With the cards that you were dealt with. How do you wake up every single morning? Whatever it was. But guess what? I didn't subscribe to that narrative. That could be their reality, but sure as hell, it will not be mine, right? I always knew that it was meant for more. And so I never allowed anything that tried to latch onto me and bring me down do so. Every single time I got down, and trust me, there have been so many times that I was on the floor of my apartment, hysterical, crying, grabbing the floor for dear God. Okay. I remember crying and crying and thank God for my dog because I used to look at her when she was a puppy and be like, she's watching me do this right now. Like she's watching me cry. I'm the worst dog mom. I need to get up. Every single time I cried, I got up. Every single time I was knocked down, I got up. I got the coach I needed to get me to the next place in my life. And I did. I put one foot in front of the other. Because when you're on the floor, when you're at your rock bottom, the best it's a time to get excited. And that's what I think people don't realize. They get stuck on the floor because life sucks. But for me, when I was on the floor crying like a little baby in my 20s, in my late teens, I said, Viv, you're on the floor right now. And then I laughed. And then I'm like, there's only one place that you can really go from here, and that's up. And I could stand up. And just by standing up and putting my shoulders back and maybe putting my hands all the way in the air, I'll feel a little bit better. And then I'd put on music that make me feel happy and I'd just dance it out for an entire song and really just get it out of my body and I would feel better. And then I would say, what would make me happy right now? Okay, let me go do that thing. And I wouldn't return back to the place where I wanted to crawl on the floor or rip out my guts because I knew that I always had my back. I always had my back. And I knew that no matter what anybody said about me, right? No matter what anybody said about me, the only person's opinion that matters is mine. Why? Because your personality equals your personal reality. And your personality is a accumulation of your beliefs, your thoughts, and your actions. And so when you don't like how you're being, if you don't like what your world looks like, your personal reality looks like, we don't go try to control other people or change something outside of us. Instead, we shift something inside. We shift our thoughts because our thoughts lead to our beliefs. And yes, our beliefs are malleable. We could shift them out, we could destroy them, and we could take in new beliefs. And our actions are based off our beliefs. They inspire our beliefs inspire our actions. And so when I didn't like my reality, I said, okay, who am I being right now? What shit do I need to clean the motherfucking up? And I did it. And I changed the way I thought. I changed the way I showed up. And sometimes that was simply by putting lip gloss on and going for a walk, right? Just changing like something on my face, right? Or putting my makeup on. Sometimes it was putting on a dress that I saved for a special occasion and wearing it out on a regular day to get into the energy of just feeling that specialness, the extra sparkle. And here's the real honest truth. If you don't go all in on you, if you don't take that leap, if you don't risk in the name of your growth in order for you to succeed, even if it's scary, right? If you do not go all in, if you do not invest in yourself, nobody else will. Nobody is going to believe in you. Nobody's going to choose you. Nobody's going to pay you. Nobody's going to love you if you do not do those things for yourself. If you do not invest in yourself, if you do not love yourself, if you do not show up for yourself, you cannot expect anybody else to. The number one thing I tell my clients who are manifesting love is, well, do you tell yourself you love yourself every single day? Jaw drops. No. Well, then how can you expect anybody else to? Because here's the thing. I'm going to use money as an analogy. If you are scared to spend money, if you're scared to pay for things, you are sure as hell going to be scared to receive money. Think about like if somebody gives you something or wants to pay for you, you're like, oh, no, I don't feel comfortable, right? So same thing with love. Like if you don't actually, on a cellular and molecular level, love yourself, show up for yourself, have unconditional confidence, choose you, invest in you, then you cannot expect anybody else to do any of those things for you because you set the bar. You set the bar as to the way that people show up for you based on how you show up for yourself. And I'm telling you all of this because your purpose, your greatness is hidden in your rock bottom moments, is hidden in the places and spaces where you feel the most frustrated. And the only way, the bridge that's going to take you from being frustrated, from crying on the floor, for hoping, wanting, and dreaming, to actually having and manifesting is taking the aligned action, is going out there and doing the thing, hiring the coach that's going to guide you into the next steps and get you to where you want to be. No, not where you want to be, to where your mother effing meant to be. Because every single thing that you want to manifest wants you more than you want it. Why do you think you're thinking about it so much? Because it's meant for you, it's waiting for you, it exists for you. And you have to go and take it, claim it, decree and declare it. It's yours. Go do it. So a lot of great things have been happening for me lately. I, the Journey with VRD team just came out with the Journey with VRD Manifestation Secret Society. I'm absolutely obsessed and in love. It's a monthly membership where you get at the very least, two group live Zoom calls with me where you get to ask your manifestation questions, where I teach a manifestation lesson, where I give you a strategy, where I give you tools and forever tools to manifest your life. Every single month, you're automatically entered into a contest to win a free private session with me. You are supported by a group. You have direct access to an exclusive community chat on Facebook where you're supported, where you're welcome, where you're cheered on and you're motivated. And there's these challenges where right now we're giving out free money. We're giving out free money for the people in the 90-day challenge right now. There's giveaways. Oh my gosh. My heart's racing right now just talking about all of this incredible stuff that's happening. And that's just a membership where we love and support you. It's a membership where you get free access to me. I am sharing meditations. I'm sharing videos that I've created on manifesting money, on manifesting love, on manifesting ease, grace, flow, and bliss, where you could manifest it all. I'm going in there every single morning answering your questions. I'm going in there every single morning cheering you on when you guys tell me the groundbreaking things that have been happening to you guys. I'm going to read some of them to you because the power of community is so strong, is so impactful, is so potent, is so powerful that you guys have to see what's happening. The membership has only been open for a couple of days and incredible transformations and manifestations have been coming through. That is the power of being at a place where you belong, where there's people moving through things that you are moving through, are going through, and are able to support you because they've been there or are going through the same thing. These are the people who get you, the aligned friendships that you've been looking for. This is the group, this is the community where we support you. These are your people. And the membership, our secret society, is a response to that need, to the messages we've been receiving saying, hey, I love this stuff so much. I'm making so much progress in my life. A, I could use a little bit more support. And B, I wish I had friends. I wish I had a community of people who also understood this manifestation lingo. So I just want to read, I'm just going to read two of them because I want you to understand. I want you to be in the energy of the transformation. Okay. I want to just share. This is from one girl who's in our book club, a member. This is from one member. She says, good morning. I did my morning routine and wrote a day in my life. Last night, I tried to sign up for a workout class for this morning. She told me it was full. I knew I was going to get in, so I'm currently preparing to go. And she just texted me, the spot opened up. Have a great day. Hell motherfucking yes. This reminds me, last night I had a date night with my fiance and we went to a jazz bar and I saw one spot left like on these like yummy cushy couches. And I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna sit there. I tell the hostess and she's like, wait a second. Like, I need to even see if that's available. What do you mean you're just gonna sit there? They were the best seats in the house. And I'm like, no, no, I'm so sorry. I'm just so used to just declaring what I get. Like, I just claim it. And she's like looking at me like I have four eyes. She opens the iPad and she's like, oh, wait, that seat actually is available. You guys can sit there. And I just laughed because I'm ahead of the game sometimes. If I'm being honest, like I'm just so used to like playing the game life. The life, yeah, like life is a game. It's a mental game, right? We're constantly just getting to the next level. And I'm so busy playing it, I forget there's some people that are unaware of the game and they're still playing by the rules. Anyway, so I wanted to share her thing, and then we got a really emotional and powerful feedback from another woman. And she wrote to me, she says, and I asked permission if I could share this. She said, Vivian, I'm crying. I really have to thank you. Because of last night's discussion, I just did something that has been on my mind for months, if not almost a year, but I have been too afraid to do so. I used my voice and I said what I needed to say to my boss, and I am so happy. I am so grateful. I cannot believe I finally did it. Hell, motherfucking yes. When you take the action on who you want to become, on what's meant for you, the universe moves mountains. And miracles that you once thought were rare become natural. Become natural. And so now I invite you. I want to cheer you on. I invite you to join our Secret Society membership. And I'm going to put the link to the membership in the show notes, because now is your mother effing time to be supported and celebrated and seen for who you are. Now is your time to join our live group calls monthly. 2 is a minimum. Now is your time to, whenever you want, listen to pre-recorded calls, watch them because they're visuals, and learn how to manifest anything that your soul is currently desiring. And another thing that I wanted to share is that if you are not a member, you could still join our live group calls. It's just at a rate. They're going to be $50. So I don't know, 2 of those, it would be $100. Or you could just become a member, get access to at least 2 group calls, get access to the community chat, get access to all of my pre-recorded courses and classes and teachings and meditations and giveaways and challenges and motivation. I mean, the ball is in your court. Are you all in or are you all in? I'm just taking a breath because that was a lot. That was a lot. So I just really wanted to share with you guys where I've been, where I'm at, all of the incredible, amazing things. On May 12th, I'll be teaching an in-person manifestation class in Brooklyn. And for those of you who are in the New York area, I'll put that on my story and on my Instagram so you know where to find that. We're going to be making some changes to the website, so keep an eye for all of that. And I'm just really excited to be here at this new level, at this new chapter, showing up more fully, showing up with the excitement, with the love, with the magic, with the pure sparkle. Because, magic is an iffy word. So I'm just really here to invite you to your next level. And if you're thinking of working one-on-one to get there, I think I have like 2 spots left, but mostly for the 1-month packages and not the 3 months. So I think if you want to work with me for 3 months, I only have 1 spot left for that because I'm getting married and I'm going on a honeymoon and I don't have the space to work so closely with more than 1 person right now. So I'll put all of the links in the show notes, and I'm so freaking excited. Taking a breath. I'm so freaking excited to start being in your world. I'm so excited to start supporting you. I'm so excited to start rooting for you. I'm so excited to witness your transformation as you go from where you are now to where you always knew that you are meant to be. Now is your time. This is your invitation. This is your invitation to go all in on yourself. And when you do, you will see that the ROI, the return on investment, is tenfold. I'll see you next week. Hey, if you like this podcast episode, please download it, give us a nice review, and follow us on Instagram at Journey with VRD to get all the latest and the greatest updates. Till next week.